Thanks, Gary. We'll now ask comrades to join us who've got wreaths to lay, and I think Hilda will marshal them appropriately.
We can bring your wreaths up. We're just getting ready to read the names.
We'll also be joined by colleagues from trade unions and campaigning organisations who will read to you the names of those workers who've lost their lives as a result of injury or illness at work over the last couple of years since 2010.
All the people who are reading names, please come forward. Who else is reading names?
And if colleagues would like to lay wreaths at the front of us here as the names are read out.
Morning everyone. We remember the dead, all those many hundreds across the northwest who have died due to exposure to asbestos. To read all of their names would take more time than we have here today. But remember each and every one of them, and we commit ourselves to fight for the living. We remember the dead, all those many thousands killed by all work-related illnesses such as heart disease, lung diseases and cancers across the northwest. All those hundreds of workers killed in work-related incidents across the northwest. We do not know the names of most of these workers, but we will read out the names of those whose deaths have been reported to the Health and Safety Executive between April 2010 and April 2014. As we remember them all, remember the dead.
We remember all those workers in services in water and waste management who died since 2010. David Astley, Sonia Schultz, Zbigniew Galka, Amin Quibal, Stephen Garrett, Niall Page, Dodrian Hart, Grant Kinney, Susan Brooks, Daniel Lobb, Christopher Morris, Manesh Wickeramsanga, Ricky Guest Binns, Ryan John Powell and Ernest Hall.
Craig Gray, Malcolm Harrison, Philip Davis, Carl Morris, John Bassett, Russell Jocelyn, Mike Proctor, Fiona Bone, Nicola Hughes, Darren Marley, Paul Williamson, George Howley, Stephen Hunt.
Remember all those workers manufacturing who died since 2010. Stanley Ian Hurd, James Bibby, Thomas Elmer, Graham Begley, Robert Dunroe, Alan Catterall, Chris Cowan, Liam O'Neill, Leslie Brown, Martin McGlasson, Jason Pennington, Michael Wickstead, Mohammed Shakir Abu, Andrew Bowles, Cameron Minchell, Christopher Williams, George Fowler, Richard Ferris, Bruce Dempsey, Nathan Brown, John Flowers, Greg Jackson, Michael Moran, Ian Alisti and Sean Dodgson.
My name's Ron Sinclair. I'm a regional organiser for the Construction Workers Union, UCAT. My father was an engineer. He wasn't a construction worker, but he was killed 50 years ago working at St Helens Gasworks, inspecting a boiler. He'd been in the war as an engineer in the Merchant Navy, dodging U-boats, and then got killed at work. So I know and I empathise with all those families who've lost a loved one through a fatality. Since April 2010, 4 years ago, 23 construction workers have died. These are the names of them: Peter Cochran, James Dennis Kay, Lee Bourne, Matthew Nixon, Andrew Dytick, James Sin, Edward Fitzgerald, Anthony Corsby, Carl Green, Gregor Sutcook, Gary Mellor, Lindsay Richard Easton, Michael Sweet, Graham Redfern, Justin Faber, Ivaz Bamanis, Alan Smith, Neville Hurd, Geoffrey Davis, Adrian Smith, Henry Jones, Scott Harrower, Maxwell Lewis Gray. I think with that, the deregulation that's going on is very sad to see. My own father would have been saved if the regulation had been enforced at the time, confined space of regulation. But that's not to be, and I think that we could have great problems in the future if the deregulation continues. Remember the dead, fight for the living.
And to finish with, we remember all those agricultural and fishing workers who have died across the Northwest since April 2010. Sean Bennett, Thomas Postlethwaite, Peter Coots, Colin Elwood, William Wilson Ball, Andrew Davis, Wilfred Binion, Mark Coates, Stephen Rimmer, Tony Hayton, Peter Hilton and Thomas Martin Sanderson. And we commit ourselves to fight for the living.